Hey, everybody. Hey, Katie and Angela. Angela, why don't you start us off and tell my audience what your film, The Beldham, is about and why they might enjoy it?
Yes, so the Beldham is a psychological horror slash family drama about a new single mother who's having a bit of a hard time. And so she and her baby go to move in with her mom in this house that they are flipping. And she soon begins to suspect that there is a presence living in the house that's trying to take her baby away. And I think folks might enjoy it if you love a spooky, broody, slow burn with incredible performances. If you like a Shyamalanian, dare I say, twist, you'd really enjoy this one. We have like a really gorgeous score and sound design, and our cinematography by Kasusha Genenfeld is just so gorgeous. So yeah, all reasons to check it out. Also, gotta support indie film and women in horror.
Oh, yes. I like the M. Night Shyamalan reference. I definitely will have to agree with you there. And I like to call him M. Night Shyamalan, I think, Don. Katie,
Love
what
it.
was it like to read the script for the first time?
It was exciting. It was really exciting. Angela and I have known each other for a long time. I met her as a friend and as a fellow actress and was a real admirer of her work as an actor. And then she started writing and is a very skilled writer. It was really exciting to read different drafts and kind of explore different ideas. I was like hesitant to I didn't give you a lot of my own 2 cents, but I liked being kind of like a backdrop for her working out like where the character was going, where the script was going. Um, I loved it. It was great to be a part of that process and exciting.
Well,
Love
Um,
well,
like
sorry.
20 drafts.
Yeah, how many drafts was there? 20 drafts? What?
5 million.
A
yeah,
million?
Yeah, a million.
not a million, but there were a few. Yeah, yeah.
There were a few. Okay. So yeah, tell me about that. I was curious about structuring the script. What did you kind of figure things like the stuff that involves the M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Dong stuff or whatever, what have you. Some of the later developments, was that figured out early on, or did you know you're
Yeah.
going to arrive to that, or tell me about that?
Yeah, I always started with the ending. And so it became a real exercise in how do we get there? What do we know when? What is telegraphing too much? What is not enough? How do we give the story enough intrigue and enough genre touch points that folks will stick with it? A little bit of spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, spoonful of horror makes the family drama go down. I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. And was it, Katie? Was it appealing to play something that plays to some of the primal fears associated with motherhood?
Was it appealing? No, I actually like rejected it a bit because I find acting challenging and living in that kind of a heightened emotional landscape is like it definitely takes from you. And I've played a lot of characters that are like walking that psychological edge. I now see it as like, oh, it's an asset, it's good, but it is like uncomfortable on the nervous system. So um yeah, I think I said to Angela, like, I don't know if I want to do that. This is going to be like really hard. And she was like, oh, but no, I think you can. And
You're the only
um,
person who can do it, so you have to.
yeah, you're nice about that. I don't know that that's true, but I mean, the cool thing is you always learn something about yourself after every movie and every character. And it's always more rewarding to do the thing that you're like, I don't want to do it. It's always rewarding because it's just fear. It's fear that like you feel like you can't live up to an expectation you might have. So it ended up being like I think about this movie now and I grew a lot from it and learned so much from the experience.
Well, tell me about some of the things you learned about yourself from doing this movie.
I think just the kind of like natural irritability, a sensitive nervous system can be an asset when honed correctly and to not be afraid of the parts of myself that I might not really like. I think that's kind of like a lesson for every human being, that the parts of yourself that you might not like are still valuable, great parts that maybe shouldn't run the show, but like have a seat at the table that can be there as you play the music of who you are as a person on your journey. Um, Certainly, being an actor, you have to access so many different sides of yourself. And as a woman, I always kind of have that wash of like be likable, be beautiful, be presentable. Um, but mostly like I want people to like me. So I'm afraid of the parts of myself that aren't likable, which actually are really useful parts to play a character like this, or I don't know, just to be like a dynamic human being. So it's exciting when actresses are writing this type of person to play that helps me utilize the parts of myself that I maybe am afraid of sharing.
Wow,
So I,
really interesting stuff. Just a lot of thoughts are running through my head. That's really interesting. Um, I'm curious, how important was the rural environment for this tale?
I think the most important part was the house and the house really feeling like a character. And we got so lucky with this house. The Manning family, they allowed us to shoot there, and so many generations had experiences in the house, so it already had like a family, just like lots of fondness and memories in it. And um, the architecture of the house was so specific, and I like rewrote sections so that we could work with the house, and it was so creaky and squeaky and kind of creepy in a really fun way. And I think it really fueled all of us artistically because it was just such a unique, special place. And we're just in the house for such a long time. It's a film about being physically and emotionally contained, but you want the film to not feel super small. You still want it to not get boring visually. And so I think this house really gave us a lot to work with.
Nice. And do you think maybe because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere and anything can happen, that feeling of just sort of being exposed and having yourself sort of bleed out in a sense is a part of the freaky factor here?
Yeah, the isolation, physical, emotional, psychological, I think it all adds to what she's going through and the pain that she's in.
hmm.
Definitely. And do you think some of the freakiness, the spooky factor comes from, as an audience member, I certainly felt emotionally unsure of where we're going. That's like
Yeah,
part of the edge, yeah?
yeah, definitely. I think there's nothing scarier than not being sure if you're insane. Um, there's
Love
this
reference.
gorgeous short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, about, this woman is locked in this room and she starts seeing people in the yellow wallpaper. And women over time have been so-called hysterical and overreacting and over emotional. And it's just the gaslighting, but you're not sure if you're being gaslit or not. I think there's something so human and so scary and so frustrating in that. And I definitely wanted to kind of, you know, push those feelings and make the audience feel like, maybe I'm going a little bit crazy watching this woman.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely felt on edge. What can you say about one another as creative collaborators?
Just the most talented actor in the entire. I mean, she's phenomenal. Like just phenomenal. Can do things that I would never be brave enough to do as an actor, and is just such an artist through and through. So thoughtful, so dedicated, and she just went there, and it's incredible.
Thanks, Angela.
I'm your biggest fan.
You're the man. I think Angela is one of the smartest people I've met, and the way, like, working with people creatively or just, being with people and in general, you kind of you get to see the world through their eyes, especially if like you have a friend who's a writer. You get to see their internal landscape come out on a page. And then to have that writer then become your director and direct you in that kind of like 3D reality, that's sort of like another layer of getting to experience somebody's internal landscape. And Angela's just, she's so smart and like physical, and like her femininity was really cool to experience on set. Like she's a dancer, and kind of the way she would direct sometimes, like she'd be speaking and describing like something she wanted to see, but it would come out like through her hands almost, or she would like lie down, and like it was a really cool way to be directed because it felt like I could feel it in my body. Like she was really great at communicating how things would feel physically, which I really, really liked. Because so much of this movie is like psychological, but having her be there for me physically was a really unique experience. And yeah, I just really respect her and her work ethic and her kind heart and how much she cares about people.
Nice. Okay, great. And in one word, what's Mike Flanagan like?
Oh, the best. Kind.
Okay.
Yeah, like loving, supportive. I mean, I can't just describe him in one word. He's a beautiful person. Yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, Katie and Angela, thank you so much for your time. It was a lot of fun chatting with you today. Um, what's the final thought of this interview going to be?
I hope this is a horror movie you can watch with your mom. Tell your mom to rent it.
Call your mother. Call your
Call your
mother.
mom. Call your
I,
mom and tell your mother.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, both of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.